For most people, the documents used by councils to determine planning controls are difficult to understand. Maitland Council's new environmental plan has recently been gazetted by the state government, with the city divided into 7 zones. Planner Richard Bennett says the document has been prepared for easier understanding. Maitland prides itself on its historic features, and the new plan has increased heritage conservation provisions.
The provisions are nothing new. These provisions have been in place in Maitland for several years. However, they've been incorporated into other documents. What this plan does, it brings them all into one.
The green belt being formed around the city will be bolstered under the control plan with new environmental protection buffer zones.
The Newcastle Working Women's Centre is one organisation encouraging women to voice their opinion. They've set up a phone-in for today and Monday, taking calls from women who believe they've been treated differently by the legal system because of their gender. Dr Pat Barry is organising the phone line. She says many women have difficulty getting access to legal help. With family law now ineligible for legal aid, many can't afford legal advice.
They might know what their rights are, but if they can't afford to pay for those rights to be exercised, then this is a great area of inequality.
Issues also being looked at by the Australian Law Reform Commission include violent crimes against women, family law, the treatment of women offenders, and the small number of women who become barristers, magistrates and judges. If this in particular can be addressed, then Dr Barry believes it will go a long way towards improving equality.
If it's largely the male population who make the laws and dispense the laws, if they don't have a real idea of what women's problems are, then this is a self-perpetuating system.
The number for the Australian Law Reform Commission is Sydney 231 1733.
It's illegal to discriminate against women, so if the law itself is discriminating against women, something has to be done.
From the Newcastle foreshore to the front yard of this Lochinvar home, support was running high today as the Hunter shared its joy at Australia's Olympic success.
Yes, isn't it marvellous?
I think the Hunter deserves a really good go at it because we've got a lot of venues up here that they could use for training and facilities like that. You know, I think it should be all right.
Oh, I think it's a great opportunity for Australia. I was very thrilled to hear it this morning.
At the State Equestrian Centre, former Olympian Heath Ryan couldn't hide his excitement about the news. He's expecting several international teams already at Lochinvar.
But I expect 3, probably starting about 1997. And those teams are going to, in actual fact, be buying equipment and horses from the Australians, gearing towards the year 2000. So locally, it's going to mean hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars, and I really believe it'll move into the millions.
Newcastle Chamber of Commerce was also sharing the spirit today, with President Colin Chapman hailing the win the boost local business has been waiting for.
Today, I believe, is the lift it needs. It's a psychological breakthrough. If you're in business today, you can say, well, the games are coming in 2000, I know that, I'm prepared to put my money in, get my money out of my pocket and spend some and create some jobs. I think it's fantastic.
Meantime, Upper Hunter MP and former Sports Minister George Souris announced the next leg of his Olympic marathon, guaranteeing strong representations for Newcastle and the Hunter to be one of the major training venues prior to the Games.
The $2 million Brindabella has been built by the Boat Speed Company at West Gosford for Canberra yachtsman George Snow. The 23-metre yacht replaces the original Brindabella, which has won many of the world's premier ocean races, including a Sydney to Hobart. It's been designed by Sydney naval architect Scott Judson and has been built from the latest high-tech materials.
She's foam sandwich, Kevlar glass, vacuum baked, laminated at 10 degrees and then baked 55 degrees for about 16 hours.
Boat Speed extended its premises for the construction, building a 25-metre industrial oven to bake the large hull. Moving the yacht from the West Gosford factory to Woolloomooloo Bay early Sunday won't be easy. The Harbour Bridge toll booths are being moved just for the occasion.
Because of her weight, we need two 80-tonne cranes to put her onto the truck, and because of her height, we're restricted to 4.2 metres, so we have to leave a large amount of the deck equipment off her in order to move her.
Brindabella will have her keel fitted at Woolloomooloo prior to the launch next week. Jenny Crouch, NBN News.
Uni wanted the win desperately, but no one in the side wanted it more than 41-year-old Peter Sweeney. Peter has played in 19 consecutive Newcastle Hockey Grand Finals and only won 4. Today the winger fed his inside players all day. Uni spent nearly the entire first break in their opposition's half and pounding away at the goal. Norths were rarely given the opportunity to attack the goal, but when they did it was impressive. Both sides played a very physical game, not balking at any opportunity to put the body in. Russell Stanbury was involved in nearly every altercation, but each time he came close to winning an Academy Award for his efforts. Greg Charlton kept Norths on track though with their first goal. But Uni just had too much possession and offensive skills and ran away with the game in the second half. Today's win means March Hare has now won more than $400,000 in prize money. Today it paid punters $5.50 and $1.70. The trifecta just over $200. In Newcastle it was Bullbeck Industries Race Day. Our feature event is the Sabco Handicap. $3, $8 and $11. Sir Slant paid $3 and $1.80. The Breakers play a few divisions higher and it was obvious in today's game. Although they were outclassed on most accounts, the Coasties refused to lay down and played the game fairly tough. The Breakers may have racked up 9 goals, but it could have been a much bigger scoreline if they'd kept their concentration up. Coach Jim Foley was happy with his team's performance, but a little worried about a few old injuries troubling some players. The Breakers play their first summer comp game next week.
More than 300 people gathered to see the results of 4 months' work. The 16 entrants in the quest raised just over $13,000. The cheque was presented to George Smith, boss of Maxville District Hospital. The money will go to refurbishing the maternity wing. Then the winners were announced. Nardine McGoldrick was crowned Miss Junior Charity. Emma Durbridge was Junior Ambassador. Senior Charity winner went to Natalie Sim. And the senior winner was Nicole Liesel. Organisers say the Hibiscus Valley Charity Quest was a terrific success.
This camp at Tokal Agricultural College in the Hunter Valley is one of a number being held throughout New South Wales this week. But it's not just for anyone. This is Camp Quality. Its special guests are young people who have cancer, plus their partners, affectionately known as companions. And this morning was a case of getting to know you. Making a mistake doesn't matter here. It's the spirit of participation that counts. The young people aged between 4 and 18 years come from the Hunter and Manning regions. Most of them are in remission. But during the week-long camp, little time is devoted to dwelling on any problems. Instead, it's a positive atmosphere. For many, the beginning of lifelong friendships.
It's giving children who've had cancer a chance to mix with other children that have experienced the same treatment and gone through the same things as they have.
12-year-old Chris Morris from Newcastle was diagnosed with cancer 9 years ago. He's been attending Camp Quality for just as long.
Oh, I think that's great that I've got over it now and I'm all fit and I play sport, so...
And you're not going to let it get you back?
No.
Emma Hamilton from Cessnock was diagnosed with cancer 2 years ago. This is her first camp.
Well, you get to see what they've been through and it's really good.
Camp Quality is all about doing fun things these young people often don't have time for. Catherine Lamond, NBN News.
Tokal Agricultural College near Maitland is hosting the dairy industry's first major field day. It was the idea of farmers in the Hunter region.
There's a need for it in New South Wales. We've got 2,000 dairy farms, and where do they find information? And we've been able to pull all that together in this one location.
Dairy Expo has attracted widespread interest with 100 commercial exhibitors, including some from South Australia, Victoria and Queensland, keen to do business. The farming fraternity has also shown its support, with dairying areas from southern Queensland and Tamworth to Victoria represented. Most agricultural industries have been experiencing rough times, but the dairy sector appears to be experiencing a revival, with millions of dollars of investment already underway.
A lot of farmers are looking at expanding as far as their herds are concerned, and along with that comes the idea of greater production. We're looking at bigger vats, better facilities for cooling milk.
There was keen competition in the dairy breeds, with strong interest in heifer rearing to meet herd demands, and Jersey breeders aren't resting on their laurels. Dairy Expo continues tomorrow, with indications the trade show may become an annual event.
The Newcastle Junior Open is a vital leg of the New South Wales and Australian tennis circuit. It's at tournaments like this, players gain points on which their state and national rankings are based. And in today's quarter-final matches, the competition couldn't have been fiercer. In the 15 girls singles, dark-haired Natalie Drage from Singleton defeated South Australia's Kate Wyatt. Also in the winners' circle in the same age group was second seed Holly King from Coffs Harbour. Seen here in the all-white outfit, Holly registered a 6-4-6-2 win over Grafton's Tracy Urquhart. In the boys' 15 years group, top seed Dominic Cohen, wearing the dark-coloured cap, was too good for Nathan Renfrey from Cessnock. The Novocastrian overpowered Renfrey in straight sets. And in the 17 years group, left-handed Kyron Pinter from Lake Macquarie displayed some degree of frustration before toppling the Central Coast Troy McDonald 6-4-6-3. Play continues tomorrow. Catherine Lamond, NBN News. One day you may be watching these budding softballers at the Olympics. With softball becoming an official Olympic medal sport for the first time at the 1996 Atlanta Games, the move is already on to identify talented young players.
Because 96 is 3 or 4 years away, we always start our programs well in advance, and we look to develop kids from the age of 15 or 16 through to Olympic level at that time.
70 children between the ages of 9 and 15 are participating in the camp. Most are from Lake Macquarie and Newcastle. However, some have travelled from as far away as Taree and Port Macquarie to join in. Activities range from hand-eye coordination skills like T-ball to fitness work and more advanced skills. Some of the state's top under-19 and open lady softballers are on hand to share their knowledge in areas such as the importance of stretching. The camp finishes tomorrow when an under-14 Hunter softball development squad will be selected. Catherine Lamond, NBN News.
Max Lees hopes this is the end of Flitter. The other 19 starters in the Epsom will see as they cross the finish post tomorrow at Randwick. The 4-year-old mare is third favourite in the betting at 6-1 after impressive lead-up work to the biggest race of her career.
This is the race that she's been set for all along, and everything's gone to plan at the moment, so we're just hoping for luck.
A barrier draw of 12 won't harm her chances either because the favourites have drawn even wider.
She's very adaptable. Here in the NBN Cameron, she come from near last, and in other races she's been up near the lead, so just leave it to Jimmy Cassidy. He knows how to ride her well.
Lees will also have another chance in the Epsom with 5-year-old mare Double Your Bet. Double is regarded as an outside chance at 20-1. Tomorrow could also be a big day for fellow Newcastle trainer Noel Mayfield-Smith. Smith will run leading filly Angst in the Flight Stakes.
She's worked very well this week, probably much the same as she had before she won at a previous start, maybe a shade better. She looks very well and she's doing very well, so I'm very happy with her.
Smith rates her chances so highly he's employed a full-time security guard to ensure the 3-year-old isn't interfered with before race time. His other hope tomorrow is Angst's stablemate, Mr. Door, in the Spring Champion Stakes. The 3-year-old gelding has drawn barrier 3 in a field of 10.
It's only a smallish type of a field anyhow, but I mean from that barrier he'll have a good run.
Tomorrow, NBN will show the Epsom and the Champion Stakes live, incorporating pictures from the new jockey cam. The deafening bang of the starting gate is music to the ears of these young hopefuls, and it's not always the young in body that are there chasing a prize state ranking. 41-year-old Jenny Milson from Coonabarabran is still determined to mix it with the young guns. But some tried just a little too hard. Terrigal's Craig Shepherd fell heavily in his heat and was taken to hospital with a suspected fractured collarbone. The best 8 from each of the age group heats will compete in tomorrow's finals. Teams have just 35 seconds from when they leave the plane to complete a series of set moves. The more they complete, the more points they're awarded. But if they mess up just one, that move and the next two aren't eligible for any points. The cameraman plays a very important role as well. The judges use his video to award the points, and if he misses a move or fails to record the jump, it isn't counted. And although it can look light and fluffy up there, it can be pretty painful when you run into each other at nearly 200 kilometres an hour. So any spare time on the ground is spent rehearsing routines over and over again.
Conditions on the Clarence River were perfect for today's Tui's NBN Television Grafton Bridge to Bridge. 220 boats and their skiers faced the starter, with Argo Syndicate from the Hunter Valley first across the calm water on the 108-kilometre enduro. However, it was to be the Syndicate's former craft, now renamed Wild Turkey, which stole the day for Sydney owner-driver Peter Frazier. Their victory creating a new race record in a time of 39 minutes, 20.83 seconds. Wild Turkey's win took 40.56 seconds off the race record. For the Top Gun crew, who set the new mark of 40 minutes in last year's Grafton Bridge to Bridge, luck deserted them today. Tom Hughes finishing the race in a time of 42 minutes, 40 seconds. There were a few mishaps during today's racing, luckily none were serious. However, race stewards indicated some drivers and observers would be interviewed about aspects of their performance. Gary Blair in Grafton, NBN News.
It's been a successful year for the 206cm or 6'9" forward, leading the Falcons to the NBL playoffs for the first time in 5 years. However, with the Falcons having bowed out of contention last Friday night against Brisbane, Terry Dozier now has his sights set on the American NBA team, the Indiana Pacers. Last year, Dozier unsuccessfully trialled with the New York Knicks. This year, he says he's a little older and wiser. Terry flies out tomorrow. All going to plan, he'll begin the Pacers pre-season veterans camp on October 9.
It'll be much more physical. The guys are bigger, stronger and faster, and overall the talent's the best in the world.
Dozier is contracted to the Falcons till next year. However, a special clause in his contract releases him should he make an NBA team. If he does, Terry won't play for Newcastle next year. If he's unsuccessful, he says he'll be back. The Falcons' other American import, Everett Stevens, has no plans to try out for an NBA team.
Looking really to go back home and visit some family. Me and my wife just had a baby, so it'd be a good chance for us for our family to see the baby.
Stevens' contract with the Falcons finished this season, so before he flies out, he plans to talk with Falcons management.
If the opportunity's there, I'll definitely be coming back.
Catherine Lamond, NBN News.
Work on Thomas Street, Wallsend is spelling out the reality that the F3 is almost part of Newcastle's road network. A dual carriageway has been formed, extensions to the Thomas Street Bridge are continuing, and the Freeway Link Road is now part of the landscape. While the finishing touches are being made, Newcastle Council is concerned about the northern approaches to the freeway.
We recognise there's going to be a problem on the link from the end of the road to Maitland and to Hexham up the Pacific Highway and through Beresfield, and we're working hard to alleviate those problems at present.
Widening of Lenigan's Drive at Black Hill is part of action on local residents' concerns about safety on the stretch, but Council isn't satisfied.
They will address the concerns. It'll go some way towards it, but it won't be done properly until we've got a dual carriageway road from the end of the expressway to the roundabout of John Renshaw Drive. That needs to be done, and we're pressing for it now.
The John Renshaw Drive and New England Highway intersection also remains high on Council's agenda.
But there will be other work that's going to cause trouble for some time at that intersection. But we've got proposals into the Road and Traffic Authority now, and we've got to just carry on with that very difficult fight to protect the interests of the people of Beresfield, Taro, Woodbury.
It's been suggested freeway traffic may be using Lenigan's Drive by November 24. However, with work on Weekly's Drive at Thornton not due for completion until late next month, motorists may be waiting a little longer to use the next section of motorway. It had all the hysteria which accompanies a James Blundell show. A 350-strong crowd of all ages giving the Australian country music hunk a tumultuous welcome to set a stage at Stockland Mall Shopping Centre. This afternoon's pre-show appearance, a special bonus for Newcastle fans.
Well, I was really flattered that so many people turned up. You know, Newcastle's always been really good to us, but it's great to have a bunch of people that are interested, yeah.
Despite battling a dose of the flu he's had for more than a month, James obliged fans with an autographing session which lasted more than an hour. For one toddler, it was an audience which delighted his parents, including the Blundell moniker for his ukulele. On what tonight's appearance holds for fans?
Very much in keeping with the album. It's the touring band played the album, performed the album, so there's a great cohesiveness between what you hear on the record and what's on stage. We got the girls on stage for the first time. I'm just having a ball playing, you know, the performing part of it's never been better. So.
James Blundell will be in full voice tonight at Newcastle Workers Club.
Elvis Presley had women swooning for 2 decades. Since his death in 1977, interest in the man and his music hasn't waned. Fans flock to his home, Gracelands in Memphis, Tennessee. A huge business in souvenirs and memorabilia has burgeoned. More remarkable, though, is the continued demand to see Elvis in concert. It seems fans don't mind that they're not getting the real thing. For the last 18 years, Max Pellicano has made a living out of impersonating the King. He started in 1975 when Elvis was still alive. Max, or rather Elvis's 8-week Australian tour, starts tonight at Tukli RSL.
I'm trying to just give him a little bit of a tribute, you know. Elvis never performed here in Australia, and I just wanted to just give him a little taste of maybe what it might have been like at an Elvis concert.
As for the obsessive fans who insist Elvis is still alive...
Personally, I don't think he is, but if he is, I guess I'm out of a job.
The season may be over on the paddock, but Knights management is still playing hard for team sponsorship. Good news today with the Tui's Group extending its association with the club to 1999.
It'll mean in excess of $1 million over that period, which we're very pleased and proud of.
The team lives or dies on the corporate dollar, the club's struggling under a $2 million debt. But the delicate question of a major sponsor is still up in the air. Negotiations are underway with BP, but the Knights are also holding discussions with 3 other large companies.
Obviously, we've got discussions to finalise with BP. If BP don't come with us in 1994, I'm not at all worried that we'll be without a sponsor.
Several hundred native birds are presently using the sandspit on the northern end of Coon Island for the breeding season. However, the expectant mothers haven't had a peaceful time, with reports of nests being attacked, and in the latest incident, 58 eggs, including some ready to hatch, allegedly stolen from the breeding colony by 3 young men.
To date, we know that there are silver gull involved. There appear to be some eggs that are consistent with crested tern eggs, and just from our visual observations this morning, there are pied cormorants, sooty cormorants, and pelicans as well.
National Parks officers tried to save the eggs, however they believe their help may have arrived too late. Today they inspected the nesting colony, only to find more people had been overcome by their curiosity to find out what the birds are doing. The service says it has serious concerns about the disturbance.
They're protected birds. In fact, all native birds in New South Wales are protected under the National Parks and Wildlife Act. And it's an offence for anyone to disrupt a breeding colony.
The maximum penalty for possession of protected fauna is a $10,000 fine, 6 months jail or both. National Parks and Wildlife says it would like public help to protect the birds during the breeding season. Information can be supplied to their district office at Raymond Terrace. Gary Blair, NBN News.
Today's planning seminar was held in Newcastle, bringing together youth workers from the city and Lake Macquarie. Consultants Davis Meehan will spend the next 12 months developing a coordinated approach to youth services. To do that, it's important to meet with those directly involved with the young.
The people that are here today have a real passion for young people, and they want to see the best youth service delivery that we can possibly give, and the way to achieve that is by being coordinated and having some sort of regional strategy.
High youth unemployment and the recession have increased demand on youth services in the Hunter, and the problem is not likely to ease in the near future. Another 2 planning days will be held, one next month at Raymond Terrace, the other in the Upper Hunter. The results will be put to a committee of government representatives who will decide how to implement the recommendations. The $75,000 project is being funded by the Department of Employment, Education and Training. Jodie McKay, NBN News.